Keeley and Jack, basically Vivian and Edward in Pretty Woman. Says rough at 8702, one of our first fan theories for Ted Lasso as we ramp up into season 4. I'm so excited. And I did not even realize that this outfit that she wore was the exact outfit in Pretty Woman. Probably because the first watch around, I had never seen Pretty Woman, and I've seen it multiple times since then, obviously, because it's amazing. Oh no, Moses comments and says, I feel like it's pretty clearly an homage though, a rich person bringing someone from the other side of the tracks to a rich people event. Exactly. Someone says, Keeley brought the outfit thinking she was going to a polo match, which is what they attend in Pretty Woman too. I love the homage and caught it on my first watch as someone who's watched that movie too many times. Someone else says, I hate that POS Jack in that scene. I don't really understand why Jack as a character even had to exist and why Kent and Keeley had to break up. And then Swiss Cheese for Collagen says Jack was Keeley's Rupert. Oh my gosh, mind blown. I never even thought of that. I was also really appreciative that they kind of brought in the idea that she's like dating a woman after dating a man, and there's really no comment about it. I'm actually rewatching Pretty Little Liars right now, and a really big plot point is like Emily coming out. And for so long, ever since I even like this conversation even came up in my life, I was always just like, I can't wait for there to be a time where it's not coming out. It's just like, this is who I am. Just like, hey, I took in the paper today that I'm dating a girl. That's that. Like, and it doesn't have to be this whole thing. You know, Roy obviously had issue with her dating anybody, but it wasn't like, oh, she's dating a woman. But yeah, I did not like Jack. And I think her character was meant to be unlikable. She was meant to be like this rich person who was really good at like pushing things under the rug, especially with that scandal where she had some like nudes and videos leaked of her. And Jack's like, here's a statement that you can read. It has an apology. I remember watching it with my fiance, and right in the moment, he's like, she shouldn't be apologizing. And that's exactly what she said. She's like, I'm not going to apologize. I'm not sorry I made that video. Quilly2474 says, my feeling has always been that they have had some social issues they want to tackle. For example, the issues of leaked nudes, how love bombing can blind you, and the issues of dating someone with power over you. All in all, I thought it was a fine storyline, but they might have been able to talk about these issues in some other ways. No, and I think that especially because Keeley is such a loved character and she's so sweet and kind, we obviously want the best for her. So when we have somebody who comes in and does act as this overprotector, love bombing, something that maybe like a dude would do, like a Rupert would do, like he would shower her with gifts and everything. It was a really nice perspective to say that it's not just like older men who do this traditionally, like Rupert to Rebecca. Love bombing is something I've seen in romantic relationships and friendships, even in like when I work with different clients. I've literally had clients completely love bomb me at the beginning. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. You're so good. You're so talented. And then it literally goes from here downward. And then they get so comfortable telling me, what are you even doing all day? I can't believe that you gave me this. What are you even thinking? It literally goes from the most love ever to just the worst. And I've also had, relationships in high school where it was the exact same thing. Every time he'd be super controlling, he would just love bomb me with gifts. And there's also these dynamics on top of it where like she's the investor of her business. So there's those dynamics, but they don't want that to get in the way. I just thought it was really, really great. And the woman who played Jack, Jodie Balfour, did a really great job depicting a more masculinized power while also that sensitivity of love bombing, and then also completely pulling out after they broke up. Now, Comics Reader Yes says, people are going to think I'm weird, but I genuinely believe that Ted Lasso was actually written for women in mind. Yes! We're going to bring this up in another fan theory, but the first watch around watching Ted Lasso, I was so stunned and happy watching the relationship dynamics of these women, especially that scene where Sassy comes into the hotel and is like, hey, Rebecca. In so many other shows, there would be this whole subplot line about Keeley wanting to be Rebecca's best friend and Sassy wanting to be the better friend. So many shows do that. And immediately Keeley goes, who are you? I love you. And I literally turned to my fiance and I'm like, I have never seen that before. I have never seen that in a television show before. And I love it so much. Now I know Brett, I know Jason, I know there's a lot of different collaborators in here. I don't know who was the initial mind behind this, but I absolutely love it. Now, someone else interestingly says, unfortunately, season 3 made me actively dislike Keeley, and I really loved her in season 2. I felt like she didn't really do anything about her various predicaments except refuse to apologize for the video. Keeley made a mistake hiring Shandy, and Jack gave her the exact language to fire her and basically ordered her to do it. Keeley ignored all of Rebecca's warnings about Jack, and she never broke up with Jack. It was Jack who left her, and I feel like she never told Rebecca that Rebecca was right. Keeley never really learned how to run a business, but Barbara just took a liking to her and offered to stay with her. Season 3, Keeley annoyed me the way that both the Gilmore Girls annoyed me. Like, being cute is not an excuse for not solving your problems or learning from your mistakes. It drove me nuts how much the Gilmore mom and daughter, Lorelai and Rory, would run to the grandfather, Luke, the college boyfriends, etc., to bail them out of tough situations. That's a really great point. And I did have these back and forths with Keeley, like, hiring Shandy and then going to Barbara and being like, you can't talk to her that way. Because this is like a funded company that has a lot at stake, and it's important that you bring in a lot of your stakeholders. I mean, I don't really know how business works, but I would think it's important that you bring in your stakeholders and not just fly by, oh my gosh, I love you, yes, I'll hire you. Silent Top 9518 replies, completely agree. She started off as a really sweet and cool character with a lot of depth and personality. By the end, she's just getting tackier, and every single billionaire and footballer wants to hand her everything. It all just becomes unrealistic. I don't know, for me, I just think she's an imperfect human being, and it shows that she's making mistakes. And Roy broke up with her. Jack broke up with her. She wants love. She's not like Marnie from Girls, who just hops from guy to guy whenever she's alone. She wanted to be in these relationships, and it's a nature of just being a person. To the point of she never apologized to Rebecca, I don't know if that was needed. Now, my love language is words of affirmation. So when people apologize to me or compliment me or say things word-wise, I do get very moved. Like, that's something that I do need. I'm very, very driven by words. But it doesn't necessarily mean that, like, when I have a friend and they didn't listen to me about a guy, they need to go and apologize to me. I'm never waiting on people to apologize. It's just, it is what it is. I don't know, like, I don't think there's anything to apologize for. I think that's just the nature of a friendship. Try your best to, like, give them advice if they need it and be there for them. And if things blow up, you're not just like, see, I told you, now apologize. I don't think that's the dynamic of Keeley and Rebecca. So yeah, I totally agree with this fan theory that the dynamics between Keeley and Jack are definitely the dynamics of Julia Roberts and Richard Gere in Pretty Woman. And I totally did not even realize that until reading this. By the way, if you're liking this so far and you love deep dives into your favorite movies, television shows, and records, definitely like this video. I would love to see you around. My name is Kira, this is Studio Violet, and I'm so happy you're here. Definitely subscribe. Speaking of the female relationships in Ted Lasso, Ruffat8702 says, meet the Diamond Dames. All the love and support of the Diamond Dogs, just 100% less barking. And this is exactly the dynamic that I was noticing the first watch around, how incredible they are together. There's not a whiff of like, I'm the better friend, you've known her for longer. Immediately, Keeley sees Sassy and she's like, I love you. That was when I realized, I'm like, this show is different. Girl Back There says, one of the parts that made me so unbelievably happy while watching the show is the friendships between the women. Too many times we've seen female characters put against each other in shows that mostly center men. Yes, Rose Chasing says it was so refreshing in the Make Rebecca Great Again episode how Keeley and Sassy got along pretty much instantly instead of having a rivalry over being Rebecca's friends. Doodle02 says, yeah, as a guy, I adored pretty much everything about that episode. The relationships between the three women are all amazing, and I love how quickly Sassy and Keeley hit it off. My favorite part is where Sassy tells Keeley about the real Rebecca for the first time, juxtaposed with the real Rebecca showing up for the first time in the show taking care of Ted later. Also, the unbelievable karaoke. Sorry dogs, I'd rather hang out with the dames. It's so cool how both, let's say the Diamond Dogs and the Diamond Dames, have this incredible strong bond with one another where it's not cheesy. And this is what I noticed about the TV show as a whole, is like it has incredible messages, but it's not cheesy. It's not this like multi-cam laugh track show that just has these dramatic moments and these funny moments, but at the end of the day there's a lesson learned. And it's just one of those shows where it's everything. It's so hard to describe. Obviously it is a comedy, but there are parts of it that tug at your heartstrings. Now when it comes to the Diamond Dogs, I'm thinking of Nate. Between season 2 and 3, he basically becomes like evil Nate. But by the end of season 3, we see the team members wanting him back despite all of the things he he said about them, all the things he said about Ted, there's this sense of like forgiveness without there having to be this big apology. And I can't really remember if Nate actually specifically said like, I'm sorry to Ted before they were just like, we want you back. But I think that's the nature of the show. It's not like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm sorry. And then they make up. That's the beauty of the show. If someone branches out, if someone feels that they need to do something else, as trivial as like Keeley making a mistake about a relationship, as big as Nate going off to a completely different team and bad-mouthing them, there's always this sense of, we're just waiting for you to come back. It kind of reminds me of like 12-step programs. And while I'm not in one, I know a lot of people who are. And it's this idea that like, if something were to happen and someone broke their sobriety or something of that nature, the way that I see it is a lot of these groups, it's like, we're not going to shun you for that. You're welcome back whenever you're ready. And there's no resentment. There's no like, see, I told you so. You're here. And I think that's such a great depiction in this show too. Someone goes, I don't know, they were pretty damn loud in that church. I love that scene. In something that could have been really upsetting, and of course, obviously for Rebecca, it is upsetting that her father passed away. You know, like that group of friends that you have when you're with them and you're like, I feel bad for the rest of the general public because we're gonna be so loud. I'm gonna have no idea how loud I am. I hope nobody records me because I'm gonna look ridiculous. It's just that kind of relationship. Mr. Friendish says, Sassy damn well better have an expanded role in season 4. It's criminal how underutilized she was. It's as if they were too scared or intimidated to follow through and have more than playful banter between her and Ted. The end of their relationship was such a cop-out. Coffee Bucket says, I think it's fine for them to have a solid FWB, Friends with Benefits, relationship that maybe dies back a bit when Ted was shown to be catching feelings, but I would have liked to see them say goodbye. Yeah, like, I don't know how I feel about Sassy and Ted. I think it's really interesting that because Sassy's a psychologist, she's like, oh, you're a mess. You're a mess. And Ted's like, what? No, not. I feel like the initial way that they met, Sassy was looking at him as a hot piece. And, you know, Marlboro Man, he was really cute. So for me, I don't know, that's like not usually where a relationship starts if you're looking at someone just for their hotness. But I could totally be wrong. Like, that also is how some relationships start. I just wonder if maybe there's a nuance to them. I mean, they have a good surface level relationship, but I don't remember seeing them talking a lot in bed and hanging out. She just kind of leaves, or he leaves, and he's like, well, let's go on a date. And she's like, no, you're a mess. So I don't personally see a relationship there. Although in the promo image we're going to see later, I thought I saw Ted's ex-wife. So maybe he gets back with her. I don't know. And if you're watching this after having seen season 4, you're gonna know exactly what happens. Diamond Dams. I love that. They are all so good looking. They are all beautiful on the inside and out. So hell yeah, we love the Diamond Dames. Can't wait to see where they go in season 4. Another thing I'm excited to see in the upcoming seasons, and is kind of a hot topic, is the idea that Ted believes success is not about the wins or losses. Ruffat8702 posts this specific scene where he says, for me, success is not about the wins or losses. It's about helping those young fellows be the best version of themselves on and off the field. Now, people have a lot to say about this. Squid Sledge says, honestly, the line right before this quote is what makes it. I'm gonna say this again so you don't think it was a mistake the first time I said it. And then he repeats that. But Mr. 732 says, maybe that's the case in non-competitive youth sports, but results matter in real life, and Beard is 100% correct. So there's this division between, are we doing anything in life to get better, or to actually make money and make sure that there is a livelihood to be had with this work? I mean, you could say this about any job, any career. Now, there's so much pressure in a lot of these careers to be so perfect and to make sure that we're winning all the time, that yes, that humanity can be lost. But I also see what Mr. 732 is saying, where it's like, in real life, you're not going to be a team anymore if you're not winning. Like, you're not going to get the funding. I don't really know how it works, but you're not going to be able to play in the big leagues and then I guess just not get the money for it. Now, Carstar12 says, I thought about this when I did a rewatch a couple months back, actually. While I agree wins and losses absolutely matter in professional sports, there's also some merit to what Ted is doing, being a culture shift between the club to shake the standards they've been saddled with of just being remarkably average. Is that the whole intent content from Ted. Nah, his quote in the post is also just his philosophy. But there's some benefit to sacrificing success for development sometimes. McBride055 says, there is value in what Ted says, but Beard is more correct in this case. You can't change culture and develop people if you fail in professional sports. Coaches have incredibly short leashes, especially in the Premier League. Ted needs success to keep his job, otherwise his project falls apart before it has a chance to get off the ground. It's kind of this whole idea of like, what is more important? Us improving as humanity, us learning more, us becoming better people, or us making the money and the resources so that we can become better people. Does that make sense? Like, is it more important to prioritize becoming a better person and as a subset of that, getting better as a company, as a league, as a business? Or is it important to focus on getting better as a company, as a league, as a business, and in turn that will give you the resources to then become a better person? Chedmont says, except in this case, he didn't need success to keep his job. Rebecca wanted him to fail. Ted's philosophical approach moved the team forward despite Rebecca's actions in season 1. Beard was right about that specific personnel decision, but Ted is right about how he approaches coaching in general, and it shows. The coach that can do both will be the better coach than one purely chasing wins. I think Andy Reid is a good example of this. Now, I'm not going to claim that I know the reason for existence or the meaning of life, but if you do believe in the Big Bang Theory, that the universe kind of started with this Big Bang and ever since then everything has been expanding outwards, and because we are a part of the universe, you might believe, like me, that the purpose of us is to expand, is to learn more, is to become the best version of ourselves, to create as much as possible, share it with as many people as possible, and just by the end of our lives become the most expanded version of ourselves. If that's something that resonates, then you might believe that Ted's philosophy is 100% accurate, not Beard's. That a subset of becoming the best version of ourselves is going to be success in the sport. Now, if you agree more with Beard, you might think like sending a kid to a military school. Like maybe they don't know in their hearts like why they need to go, but maybe for them like the routine and having something to do every single day, given it's like driven by a deeper purpose and there are actually like good people leading it, you might see that the discipline of that and the standard of excellence, the subset of that is going to be that they become better people. For me, I don't know, I think I want to agree with Ted. And I think it could go way too far too, where, you know, we're not focusing at all on wins and losses, but I don't think that's Ted's case. Like, even though he might not want to show it to the players, if there is a loss, he does feel it. So he isn't completely ignoring where they are, how the games are going, but he's more focused on bettering the players as people because he believes that when they become better people, they're also going to become better players. Yeah, and Tsunami says something similar. I think the point is that if you help people become the best version of themselves, the wins will come. The goal shouldn't only be to win games. That should be the result of the goal and process of making people better. As one of my favorite YouTube creators, Nikki Reardon, says, two things can be true at the same time. You can agree with this and also agree with Beard. You could say, yes, both of them are right. You know, I don't think we always have to pick sides, but it is interesting just to ponder for yourself, like what side of the coin would you be on if you were in Ted's position? I think I would be on Ted's. Now, this is for the folks who are watching this before season 4 came out. If you've already seen it, it might be a little funny thing to see a person reacting to the season 4 promo after you've seen it. We obviously see this much smaller little, I don't even want to call it a stadium. 6 of them are cheering folks on, and I'm gonna guess it's like a very rec team, like super, maybe young. Now, I know that it's a girls' team is season 4, but I also see Ted and his wife together. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't think him and Sassy really have a thing. I feel like they get back together. We see Keeley by herself, but she's with Rebecca. We see Ted's mom. Goalie Lack says episode 1, they show up to his kid's soccer game to recruit him back, I'd guess. I love the barbecue stains on Rebecca's t-shirt. She's changed so much since season 1, episode 1, and I love that. Just this outfit as a whole, completely different. Keeley still has her little spunk, but I'm also wondering, where's Roy? Where's Roy? Someone says, I really hope Ted and Michelle don't get back together. The distance between the two is noticeable. Agreed. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Like, they're sitting there, but they're very far apart. But everyone's far apart. Rooting for Henry at a soccer game. Higgins looks genuinely impressed. I wonder if offering him a place in the Richmond Academy program turns out to be his idea. Oh, okay. So is that a thing? That offering him a place in Richmond Academy? Is that like a thing that we know Henry's going to they're going to do for Henry, and where does the women's soccer team come into it? Amen. I'm so excited for this season, but every time I see Michelle in a promo pic, I get the ick. I feel bad saying it because I think Andrea Anders is a good actress. I just dislike the character. It's like Anthony Head, phenomenal actor, playing an awful character. Someone goes, I love Keeley's necklace. I like to think Roy bought it for her. I think she had it before she was with Roy. What's a necklace? I feel like that's a Keeley buy, though. I feel like her getting like that, the staple Carrie necklace. That's what I call it. It's just the Carrie necklace, Carrie Bradshaw, where it just says their name on it. Why isn't Ted coaching? Sacrilege. A lot of people don't want to see Michelle. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, Michelle was the one who broke it off with Ted and broke his heart. Like, I feel like we were very foggy on their relationship beforehand. I mean, she did get with her therapist, so yeah, I can agree. I think it's just better that they're not together personally. I love how Keeley's the only one, like, dressed up very spunkily like this. But also, is there a subplot with like Henry playing, but then also the women's soccer team? I need to know. I don't have any other thoughts on this because I have not watched season 4 yet, but I am very excited to chat more about it after it comes out. Fan theory number 5, Keeley Jones is the best character, and I doubt a lot of people have things to say about this, but I'm curious to see why folks say this. And there's a still of Phoebe, I'm sorry you can't spend Christmas with your mom. Keeley was a favorite character from the jump, says Braves Diva, but she really sealed the deal for me when Roy broke the news to her that Sexy Christmas was off because his sister had gotten called into work and Keeley's first instinct was to comfort Phoebe. I love Keeley so much. And a lot of people are just listing their favorite Keeley moments, so I'm very much for this. No Two Bug Collector says, when she subtly coached Rebecca on how to pose on the red carpet and then got behind the paparazzi to hype her up. I could say this is when we realized this was a show for girls, but there have been shows where there's kind of that fake kindness and then you see them do something behind their back. So I didn't personally know at that point. For me, it was when Sassy came to play and Keeley was like, I don't know who you are, I love you. That is when I knew. But that was a really, really great part. I agree, I love that. OP says Keeley's most definitely a people person. I think it comes naturally for her character to put people at ease. Like when she first barged into Rebecca's office, kicked off her shoes and made herself at home on the couch. And equally, when she realized that Rebecca was the one who got pictures of her and Ted when Rebecca was still in her era of wanting Ted to fail. I feel like it wasn't one of those moments where Rebecca, I think she had an apology, but it didn't take like multiple seasons for Keeley to forgive her again and trust her again. I think like when it happened, Keeley was like, okay, let's be friends again. As far as I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I've seen it 3 times and I don't remember there being a super long drawn out process of Rebecca needing to like earn back her trust. Agus Hepapod 9352 says this really stood out to me on rewatch. Keeley's always incredibly positive in her interactions with people. She almost immediately finds the most positive spin on what a person says and finds ways to make people comfortable and happy and at ease. All of this is doubly impressive when you consider how many strong and or prickly personalities she interacts with. Rebecca, Ted, Roy, Nate, Jamie, Shandy, Barbara, etc. But she still somehow always seems to find the most positive way to engage with everyone. And bringing it back to our first one, don't forget Jack. Someone says that woman was predatory from the get-go and all of her motives were obvious. Like when she was embarrassed to bring Keeley around her family and friends. As perceptive as Keeley was, I believe she picked up on it, but it didn't reach her tipping point until Jack told her to apologize for the video that got leaked. And I think we always have to remember, with characters in life, we always want the best thing to happen. Like if we're going on a first date, we're not hoping the first date to go really badly. We want the best situation to happen. So whether it be like her reaction in the moment or just the plot line, sometimes you're going to push through little things and you're going to make excuses for them because we just want things to work out. It's so much easier when things work out. We want things to be easy. Oh, and someone speaks to when she called out Rebecca for lying to Ted, when she looked her in the eyes and said, "It matters to me." I absolutely melted. And we have some more comments about how loving the fact that she never tried to compete with Sassy as Rebecca's friends. She didn't get catty. She didn't try to insert herself. She's just the perfect girl's girl type of character that genuinely tried to get along with everyone. And I haven't finished Off Campus yet, but I'm hearing a lot of people saying that the characters there are very similar, where there's a lot of like true girl's girl, healthy masculinity. And I love that for us folks who love good television show. Montem says, I feel the same way about this episode, the Sexy Christmas one. Also how she immediately tries to make Phoebe feel better about her breath. Like, that is not just an I ate onion bad. It is medical. So it's not your fault. It's so cute. I wish I had a Keeley growing up. Like a cool, older sort of aunt figure who never made me feel bad about myself. Now Kiva says, I love how the first impression we got of her was clearly intended to make us think that she's just this stereotypical dim wag. Whack? I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a footballer's wife. Oh, wives and girlfriends. I love how the first impression we get of her was clearly intended to make us think that she was just a stereotypical dim wag. And she turns out to be this incredible, warm, and intelligent person, and we all had to eat crow because we were judgmental, not curious. Yes, we were judgmental, not curious. Yes, I love that. Aw, Haunting Face 3557 says, I know we all dislike Nate, but I do love how she took him shopping and helped him out with his appearance. She's a very selfless person. Oh my gosh, and then he kisses her. And Cosmic95 says, my favorite part might have been the stunned, fuck, you're amazing, let's invade France. Yes, Mission Accountant, when Jamie and Roy you get to choose between us. And she basically went, I choose me. And I just can't wait to see who else chooses themselves or other people, honestly. I'm like such a big romance buff, so I want to see who ends up together in season 4. So let me know if you want to do some episode breakdowns as it releases. During the time of this recording, it is releasing in about 2 weeks. And if you love Ted's mom, you might also love Hannah Horvath's mom and Girls because yes, they are the same actor. You can go ahead and watch one of my Girls breakdowns right here. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I will see you there. Bye, friend.